I've been writing and opening up about my mental health struggles over the last 18 months online, places like LinkedIn, my newsletter here on YouTube. And what I'm about to tell you is incredibly humbling for me, and it might be even a little bit polarizing to those who have depression and anxiety, especially if you're an artist, musician, or creator. Before opening up about my journey and talking about my struggles, I would tell myself this is going to be the hardest thing I'll ever have to do. And the truth is, I didn't know why. And I tell myself it's because of the stigma, it's because I'm a man. Men toughen up, they don't talk about their emotions. And there are a lot of things that came from my upbringing, the environments I grew up in, that did contribute to me not sharing how I was actually feeling. It get to a point where when friends of mine ask me, "Hey, how you going, Brian?" I'd say, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I'd say it in that excited, happy tone, as if to trick myself into thinking if I said it any louder or more enthusiastically, then it actually become true. What I was doing was I was isolating my friends and family, and I was lying to myself. And here's the truth: it became easier to hide my pain than it was to open up. Once I started writing and sharing things through my newsletter, making videos like this, getting the pain out, that became easier. And I realized for the best part of 10 years, hiding it was a way to protect myself. You see, I grew up in an environment where I felt I needed to be close to perfect, my version of perfect, not society's version of perfect. And that meant being reliable, dependable, the guy that people could trust. And I would do that through being a guitar teacher, always turning up on time. When I ran my music school, I wanted all my teachers and parents of my students to trust me, depend on me, not just from a business point of view, but just from a relationships point of view. And for my friends and family, I wanted them to turn to me when they needed a shoulder to cry on. All of this was this cover up, a way to convince myself that, hey, if I can keep this up and if I can keep doing that, then I can protect myself and I can sort out my issues on my own, until I couldn't. When I realized that me not opening up was a way to protect myself and it was easier, it was the easy way out, I realized I could never sit in silence. I could never sit still. Anytime someone showed even the slightest bit of concern for me, I'd be wondering, hang on, what's the catch here? What do you want? I could sense this danger that wasn't there. And having to learn that, to accept that, and realize that's something that I use as a coping mechanism was a really, really humbling thought. And that's the challenge with mental health, with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. But what I can tell you is that once I found that strength to write that first post, to tell people, whether it was online, my 4 followers, or my friends and family, that I am seriously struggling here and I'm at the point of thinking that I don't want to live anymore, talking about it and opening up about that became easier. And I realized just how much I had convinced myself that doing that was going to be hard. You know, my life now is not defined by the things I can do, the achievements that I may or may not achieve. It's defined by the people in my life and my ability, my willingness to let them in, to share what I'm going through, the good, the bad, the really dark, and sometimes suicidal and very grim. I guess the irony is that opening up now is one of the easier things I can do. It certainly didn't start that way though. It took a long, long time. So if you're someone who's watching this and you're battling severe depression, anxiety, you may have some suicidal thoughts, I hope me sharing a little bit of my story helps you. Look, I'm not here to say that you have to start opening up because it is easy. It's not. The first time you do it will be the the hardest thing you have to do. One of the hardest things you have to do. But over time, as you do it, without really trying, without having to force it, I think you'll realize just how many people there really see you and that you matter to them and they want to do everything they can to help you. And if you let them, they will. They will. And the great thing about this is that you don't have to be the only one to protect yourself anymore. There are people around you who will do that for you. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you're doing well yourself. Take care of yourselves. And if you like this video, please subscribe. That's my identity. No, I'm just kidding. But if you did find this video really helpful and comforting, I have a newsletter where I share my deepest and darkest experiences through my depression and anxiety. So if you're interested in subscribing and reading that, it's completely free. Go ahead, click link below, and who knows, it might help you in your own journey as well. Thanks so much, guys.